I believe in miracles. Away from you, sexy thing, yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Hits from the bone. It's from the bone. Hey, thanks for joining me. I just thought I'd have a little bit of a puff because I haven't really had much of one in a while. As you can see, I've got my homemade Bong, which is made from whatever that is. It's Carlos 1 Solar Grain Reserva, which I think means whiskey, perhaps. Anyway, I just thought I'd show a little bit of what I've done today. Like, I've done that. They just got dug up from the garden. This here is colloidal silver. It's the silver maker. You can tell, like, I lift it out of the water, red light off, red light on, red light off, red light on. So that's making colloidal silver. That's from distilled water. The distiller is put away. That's just some stuff I'm going to be baking. There's some chilies. I've soaked them in MMS water, and I don't imagine most people would know what MMS water is. I'll show you what you make it with. It's part A. So part A is, it's a water purifying solution. It is a chemical, sodium chlorite, NaClO2, 22.4% this particular one is. And so you add a drop per drop of that with the part B, which is hydrochloric acid, 4%, as you can see. And I highly recommend nobody ever use this stuff. It's nasty. Like, I overdid it on my first attempt, and I just heard, oh yeah, you add 1 drop of each per litre of water. So you put the drop into your vessel, and then you fill it up with your filtered or distilled water, whichever the case may be, and then you let it sit for 5 minutes to purify it, and then you can drink it, and it basically cures whatever may ail you, which that's why I think it's called MMS, which stands for multiple medical supply or something. Yeah, I didn't actually research it at all. I did zero research on it. All I know is that if you drink that stuff, that's where that term comes from, drinking the bleach, because it's bleach and it's nasty. It's terrible, horrible stuff. If you put 10 drops into a glass and of each and fill that with water, then you will have severe diarrhea for days, and your asshole will only stop hurting about a week later. So don't do it. It's horrible, nasty, yucky. Never touch the stuff. Don't even think about using MMS for anything unless you want to cure all your diseases and shit your brains out through your asshole and have a burning ass for days and days and wake up in the morning thinking, oh, it's just a fart, and realize it's not. It's not. It's not a fart. It's a shart. Anyway, I got through that, and now I've gone back to sensible usage. And anyway, that's why I'm washing my chilies in MMS water, because when I finally went out to, hey, look, a chili. When I finally went out to harvest some chilies to make some chili sauce, the other morning, when the day was dawning, the I looked at the chilies and they seemed to be covered in a mold or fungus. Oh, what the fuck? What the? Well, not my precious chilies, man. They just been thriving out there. But yeah, it turns out when I finally got around to picking them, it wasn't really even a mold or a fungus at all. It looked more like an ash. A type of ash had gathered on some of them and collected in some of the leaves. Uh, can't possibly be chemtrails, you know. It could possibly be fires and sugarcane, that sort of stuff. So either way, I plucked them and they seemed okay. But I just thought I'd soak them for 24 hours in some MMS water because that's the sterilizing product they use in hospitals and in food manufacturing plants and so forth. And that's why it's bleach. You don't drink it, okay? Ah, you drink beer. That's what you drink. Beer. It's what the human body was designed for. Not spirits, not um, bong water. But hey, oh, that's why I mentioned the colloidal silver, because I just flushed out bong, and I think it's a pretty good bong, but I'm going to make another one. But before I get too distracted with what I'm going to make it out of, it's this. Oh, damn, too distracted. That's the Galileo. Galliano. You can't even think of decent songs. I might even have a nip of that. Why not? Because it is that time of year. It's winter time. As you can see, I'm dressed up in all my winter woolies. I got my Uggies on. Everyone's got Uggies. Manuka matata. What a wonderful phrase. That's how I have my morning coffee. Morning coffee, salt, cacao, diatomaceous earth, my own blend of secret herbs and spices. If you want to know the secret to what they are, well, good luck. You might need a chemist to analyze it because I make it different every single time. I generally base the ingredients on maca, powder. You know what that is, right? From the maca. Not the macadamia. From the maca root of that plant, which those very clever people in South America use to energize themselves. They weren't using the cocoa or the cacao plant at that stage. They were using the maca root to give them the extra energy to build places like what do you call it again? The Miku Picchu? Macau? Yeah, it's Miku Picchu. Anyway, where they lifted lots of stones. Cheers. See, it's okay, but I reckon all the alcohol companies are in on this. It's a fucking scam, man. So it says on the bottle, 30% alcohol, 500 mils, blah, blah, blah. Supplied in Australia, supplied in New Zealand, Galliano, distilled in Italy, bottled in Holland. It's not safe to drink while pregnant. Thank fuck I'm a dude. But it says authentic recipe developed and distilled in Italy. That may well be the case. But if you ask me, I think every single alcoholic beverage that we can consume legally now. Like I nearly bought myself a bottle of Kahlua. I really felt like Kahlua because it's nice. It's sort of chocolatey and coffee. In fact, it's one of those things that on my day off that I'll add a little splash of into my coffee because it's made for it. It's beautiful and a little bit of a kickstart. But that and Frangelico. Frangelico is the other one that I really quite like. It's a hazelnut liqueur. But you know what I think? And well, fuck yeah, I'm a conspiracy theorist from way back, so what the hell does it matter? Same as that melon liqueur. What's the melon one called? That green one? I can love it. Sugary syrup stuff. All of them. Think. The licorice one, Sambuca. There you go. Took us a smack to the forehead. Sambuca, all of them, they're using artificial flavours. Guaranteed. They just distill base alcohol. Like anybody who has a still can just make whatever old crap. And then when you distill it several times, it takes out all the flavour and you're basically left with 99.9% pure alcohol, which is absolute gut rot. And the recommendation is then you dilute it to make it 40%. So you put water in it. Now, what's your source of water? And then you add the flavouring. So, say for example, you were making that, what's that melon one called? Anyway, same as Sambuca. They're only about 20% alcohol. This one's 30%, apparently. So maybe another sip wouldn't go astray. It's basically just lolly water mixed into alcohol. And alcohol, as we know, is a great preservative. So it preserves it. Sugar is a great preservative, actually. That's basically what I'm going to use when I make the chili sauce is sugar. I'm just going to use brown sugar. But so there it goes. That's why jam doesn't go off, because jam made from fruits with a shitload of sugar in it stops it from going off. Probably one of the reasons why honey doesn't go off. It's one of the only known foods that has no expiration date. But hey, it's because of the sugars. And alcohol is fermented sugar, as you know as well. And it's because when it's fermented, it's concentrated. And the little yeast that actually digests the sugar and poop out the alcohol can only do it to a certain point, and that is when the alcohol that they produce becomes toxic to them and it kills them off. And that is why wine is generally around that 12 to 14% of alcohol, because that's the maximum that the yeast can turn the sugars into alcohol before the alcohol itself kills them. And it's enough to preserve the wine. That's why the longer you age the wine, the better it gets, because unlike, say, something that's not alcohol, a bottle of something without sugar, no. Trying to think here now, because everything, fresh fruit juice, great example. Any sort of fresh fruit juice, if you don't drink it within the hour, it's losing the power that nature has imbued it with and giving you all that solar energy through the plant, filtered water into the fruit, which you juice to get a nutritional powerhouse. But if you then go and just say pour that juice into a cup and left it sitting for a few days, it will go yuck, bad, horrible, moldy, yucky, stinky, not good at all. And that is where, say, if you mixed it into alcohol, it will preserve it, or sugar, or jam. All these preserves, as they're traditionally known, will preserve the food to make it edible and still have nutritional value later on down the track. So, what I'm trying to say is that these sugar drinks that we are sold through the mainstream botlos and so forth, they're not like, say, natural beer. I mean, even this, like, even though it's got the beer label on it, this is actually something I brewed myself. In fact, you can see it will look nothing like Cooper's Sparkling Ale if I just pour some into a glass. It's probably gone a little bit flat by now because I've had it open for a little while. It has, yep. But that's okay. You see, it's not Cooper's at all. It's something that I made and I just bottle in those bottles. But the reason why this can sit and last in the bottle for so long is because it ferments the sugars added to it, and the right amount of sugars added to it means it only ferments it to about 5, 6, 7, maybe 8% alcohol. It's not strong like wine, so that's why I can just drink this all day and night long. And hardly stumble at all. That's the beauty of beer. So it's naturally bottle fermented. But when it comes to the spirits, for example, what they're doing these days is just putting maximum sugar and yeast into a thing which makes it up to 12 to 14%. And then once it's stopped fermenting, they evaporate the alcohol out, which evaporates at between 70 and 80 degrees Celsius, as opposed to the water vapor, which generally waits until 100 degrees before boiling point, but you will still get some amount of water content, obviously, because you get evaporation at room temperature. So, as the alcohol evaporates through the distillation process, every single time you distill it, which I've never done myself, I actually wouldn't mind doing one day, because you're basically making fuel for your car if you know how to distill alcohol. It's ethanol. So every time you distill it, you purify it more and more, and you take the flavours out, usually because you also filter it through some sort of carbon filtration system, which takes away all taste and smell. And basically what you're left with is pure vodka, or then the higher content of the 99.9% ethanol. And so then what they do, they dilute it, and then they add the flavours, they add the sugar waters. And I think most of the time, these sugar waters that they're adding have got artificial flavourings and some artificial colouring. Like, it's not going to say it on the bottle because it's already said authentic recipe developed and distilled in Italy. And so it would be racist of me to say the fucking wogs that bloody distilled in Italy, bottled in Holland. What, now we got to get fucking Dutch to fucking bottle our fucking Giliana in a fucking bottle? And this all started because this is not what I'm going to make the Bong out of next anyway. Don't you love stoned rants? They can get circular. But yeah, my point is, it's nice. Frangelico is nice. Kahlua is nice. That melon fucking one I can't think of the name of is nice. They're nice to sip and nice to taste because they have chemically matched the flavour of nature to make it seem like the thing that we once used to love and enjoy. So Frangelico is actually, I think, one of my goals is to try and replicate that properly, the way the monks used to do it. It's made from hazelnuts. It's made from hazelnuts somehow. Now, I don't know how they do it, but what I would think is they've distilled the alcohol and then they've crushed the nuts, or maybe not. I would think they would have crushed the nuts and infused the nuts into the alcohol, and from that, after letting it soak for a few weeks or months or whatever, then the alcohol that they've extracted from it gives a beautiful hazelnut liqueur. So that is what I think is what an authentic alcoholic liquor should be. It should be just as nature intended. And this is leading me back around again to a circular point of reason, because I'm just walking around my kitchen. I'm actually cooking dinner, believe it or not. I'll have to stop or pause this in a minute, because my first harvest of potatoes that I've done this season, and I've just put one in, the biggest one. I chopped him up and used my potato for tonight, and not that I'm bragging on nothing, but hey, that was a big potato. Not that big. I wasn't like massive, but it was a good size potato. Fuck me. Get off. Look at that. It's having a battle with my beer. No, that's because it's empty anyway. Let's go back to the biggie. Radio. Here we go. Having my palate already sweetened by the Frangelico. I think Galliano. Tastes quite sweet. As you can see here, here's a little thing I prepared earlier. It's taken me a couple of hours actually to separate that wheat from the chaff, so to speak, or seeds from the I think I might be doubling myself in against the law. Hey, Mr. Lawman, tally me banana. Daylight come and we wanna go home. Hey, Mr. Fuck me, dead. Can you believe it? And actually, this is inspiring me because, well, actually, I've already been pre-inspired. This is one of the things I'm going to do very soon. And so express some interest, if you like, in the comments, because we're going to use a loophole to smoke all the bongs we want. You want to smoke a bong? You smoke in the bong. You want to drink the liquor? You're drinking the liquor. If you wanting to smoke the tobacco, you're a fucking idiot, but smoking the tobacco. It's okay. We all have a difference of opinion. You know, I don't care. If you want to smoke it, fucking smoke your life away. In fact, if you had pure tobacco, as our religious decree will allow for, because you can grow as much as you want, then I think pure tobacco is actually quite it's a health product. It kills bugs, and if we're infested with bugs, then hey, anything that kills bugs, like alcohol, must be good for you. in moderation. And it's the same as I say with the cacao. The cacao. Don't have a cacao, man. See, the cacao is just it's a chocolate powder from the carob plant. This is the maca powder that it's sort of convenient because you can actually buy it at Woolies. So it's as much as I don't like supporting huge conglomeration supermarkets like Woolies and stuff, they have their uses, and you know they employ people, so we've got to support the community. But what I'm thinking, this loophole, yeah, this is going to be, I think, fucking genius, because, you know, well, fucking A. This is me, you know. I'm a fucking genius. I know I'm a fucking genius. Hang on. Something just whooshed over my head. Nobody's a fucking genius. I'm not a fucking genius. I'm just an average bloke who just knows shit, okay? I know stuff. I'm not a genius. I'm far from a genius. I couldn't wire a house. Actually, I probably could. I couldn't machine an engine. Well, I could if I had the right tool. There's something that I couldn't do because I don't know about it yet. So, yeah, I'm not a genius. There we go. Fuck. That was a long way around to getting to saying I sort of know shit. So here's what I'm just going to, just test the waters with. And I'm going to do it soon anyway. So I'd just like to hear your positive feedback. And if you have something that you think worth adding to the words that I've already sorted in my head, I just haven't written them down yet. But I'm going to, because this is going to happen. And its time has come, is have you got like some ideas what you think? Well, after you read what I'm going to write. Anyway, the idea is religious freedom. So flat earth, it's not a religion, it's a philosophy. And Australia is obviously a nation. I've got to turn that chicken soon. Obviously Australia is a nation. However, my Maori friends, and I apologise for saying Maori like an Australian previously, because my Maori mates over in Aotearoa, the little island to the east, because Olimoroa is the big island to the west, and that's Australia. And so we can actually make Olimoroa into a religion. And yeah, be proud to say, I'm in a cult, I'm in a cult. It's not a bad thing. You can be in a cult without being brainwashed, indoctrinated. In fact, it's the opposite. It's the freedom of the brainwashing and the indoctrination. So if we use the loophole of religious freedom to start a religion, it's not a cult. I just use that for comedy purposes, because if ever you watch Mark Sargent, which unfortunately I still do, and I wish I didn't, but hey, he's fun to watch and listen to. Fucking yeah, I find it annoying, but the thing is, actually, when I listened on the YouTubes, is there's actually not that much good stuff to listen to. You know, I just like to just listen to something, a podcast or whatever, and I don't even know what a podcast is. I've never actually had a pod, but I wouldn't even know how to cast it. But I'm pretty sure that just means, just find somebody's channel and listen to it, and you put it onto your Bluetooth through your work vehicle, because your work vehicle is all modern and up to date and shit, not like your home vehicle like mine that still runs on camel poop or something. But the fuck was I going? Oh yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, we can find a loophole and we can start a new religion. And we can base it on the ancient principle of Olimaroa from our Aotearoan brothers in the East, saying that Olimaroa is the big island to the west, which is Australia, currently previously known as New Holland. I could do a whole video on that as well. But I just wanted to plant this seed now. So if we started a religion, right, as far as I know, I've looked into it many, many years ago, just as doing a non-profit thing, because this is for the betterment of humanity. So it's going to be a non-profit organisation with religious immunity from taxes and whatnot as well. And I think basically all you need is a minimum of 100 members. So we have to sort of start a club or a church, or a club is a gooder name as any, because that's how all the sports clubs get away with it. And all the people running them run it as a non-profit organisation, but they're allowed to pay themselves a wage. Now, look, I'm not interested in the money, okay? It's not why I'm going to do it. But the reason why it's worth charging a price is, I'll make sure I give you value for money, is that you then have committed yourself. You've kind of like bought a product, I guess, in a sense, but you've showed devotion towards the cause, whatever it may be, the club. And so we can start a club or a church, and I think that's the key word, is to do it as a religion. Why not? Because the number one thing of this religion is whatever nature gives to us freely, we are free to use, irregardless of any man-made laws telling us we can't. Which means basically you can use whatever the fuck drug you like. And, for me, obviously, I like alcohol, and it's the only drug I use. That cannabis that I had a puff on earlier, that's not a drug. It's a herb. It's herbal medicine. And as far as I'm concerned, if yeast contains sugar and alcohol, it's herbal as well. So it's all herbal. And that is the foundation of this religion, that we are in the process of writing out a constitution, because all clubs have to have a constitution. It's kind of like their Bible. And I will word it out in such a way that every member, paid up member, like I might just make it $99 or something, just like that, so that it shows a commitment. It shows that you're into it. And all that money is going to go back into the growth and promotion of the church. That's how it works, the Church of Oli Moroa. And in fact, it's yeah, it's got a pretty cool acronym, but I'll work on it. It's special. So once we've devoted ourselves to a cause and you become a card-carrying member, you kind of become a little bit like the Amish, for example. You've set yourself apart from the rest and you can drive a horse and cart legally on the road. Well, in Australia, we've never actually stopped people being able to drive or ride a horse on the road. Horses actually have the right of way. Still do, still have to this day. In fact, if you rock up at any licensed public bar, a pub, a hotel, then by rights, if you rock up on a horse, they have to give you a stable for your horse with a bale of straw, a room, free accommodation for the night, and one free beer. That's a law that's never been actually. Not that I care about their laws. I'm just saying that is a little loophole if you're interested. What I'm saying is, if we start a new religion, then we have religious freedom to practice as we will. And if we say that every God-given herb and plant and yeast and whatever we so decide, all of them are given to us by God, the one and only God who we believe as our creator, then we are free from man's laws, which will prosecute us from using the hemp plant, the coca plant, the poppy, whatever plant you choose to use. Or fungi. Let's not forget the fungi. We cannot be prosecuted on freedom of religion grounds. I'm Iron Horse, and I'm here to save the fucking world. And your sorry little ass. Because I love you. I love you. And I love my Mother Earth more than I love you. Just a little bit. Thanks for listening. And if you've got something that you think I should add to the Constitution, which I've had written in my head for way too long now, I have to write it down. Feel free to add a comment, and I'll see you next time around.